Welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. Today I have with me Adil and Rashid. We'll be discussing the Sheffield United versus Liverpool game. Rashid, what was your take on the Liverpool first half? Even Sheffield United going 0-0 into it, really. What was your take on the half?
I thought Liverpool were the better side. They were lucky to not put away some of the chances. Unfortunately, the chances fell to Roberto Firmino. Anyone else would have probably scored them. Liverpool were the better side. They kept on knocking, and the main thing I was worried when I looked at the lineup and everything was like, we've been losing a lot of games recently, and it seemed to me like the same lineup, same tactics. But when they started off, you can tell straight away he's twitched it. He's played Mane through the middle. The whole game he's played through the middle, and that's changed everything for us. But now, all of a sudden, Trent getting the ball and Robertson getting the ball. There's a target man. There's more than one. There's Firmino and Mane there. Even Jones, Wijnaldum, them getting the ball, they pick it up, and straight away there's an option. We never had this option. This is the reason why Trent, when like a few games with stupid stats like 40 crosses and he couldn't get to the man because we don't have enough players into the box. The whole game they played Salah right, Firmino and Mane tucked into the middle, and that made a massive difference. You can tell the chances we are creating now were more clear cut than the chances we've been creating other games where we're just ricocheting and all that stuff, or getting a cross in and hoping something happens. And yeah, the football was so much better.
I mean, one thing I wanted to kind of look at, because a lot of Liverpool fans have been complaining with regards to not having centre-backs, etc. And for the first time, they've actually played two centre-backs at the back with Williams and Kabak, and they got a clean sheet. Adi, what was your take on that?
I thought it was an open first half. Liverpool were the better team, but you'd expect that. But I mean, Sheffield United created a lot of opportunities, promising opportunities too. McBurney header. There's a good few chances where, if I'm watching the game, and I'd be still worried about that defense because there's no one picking up anyone. They're marking space, so you've got one striker in the box. You think between the two of them, someone's going to pick him up. It's a free header. A Premier League striker scores that.
That could have made it 1-0. That could have been crucial.
Yeah, and the thing is, I felt like there were chances in the game for Sheffield United, these type of good chances, ricochets, opportunities in the box. They just couldn't test Adrian enough. And it looked, you can tell whenever Adrian's there, there's always a calamity waiting to happen. There was a few of those hair-raising moments. So still worried for the Liverpool defence. I think the better teams would punish these mistakes. So the hope is they improve. But I definitely agree with the fact that having Mane as a target man, they played quite direct because Sheffield United were pressing quite high up and the pressing was quite good. Liverpool were just going direct, and it was noticeable that Mane was able to get these flick-ons and win things and build something that Firmino just wouldn't do. Doesn't give Liverpool that base. So definitely I did notice in the first half that a lot of the good possession or the good play up the pitch that Liverpool got was due to the fact that Mane was actually coming into the centre back, and Firmino actually played more like a 10.
Yeah, Mane created so much space. They left the left back. Obviously, when I was watching the game, you didn't know to cut in to Mane, leave that gap, or not to to stay in his position. Had he stayed, if he didn't cut in, it was Mane, Firmino, Jones against two centre backs, and that created space for them to play the game. And if he did cut in, Robertson had that whole side empty, and they kept on playing out that side. Tactically, I think they got it right. It's something different from my point of view. I'm tired of seeing the same football with no results.
Is this something they can build on? Kind of, obviously, it's a positive result, clean sheet, a new way of playing. You're saying, is this something that they can build on and kind of evolve it as they go on?
Only Klopp knows that, because I think more than our defense. I know we've had so many different defenders, but so many games we lost because we simply couldn't, create either clear-cut chances. When we did, they either fell to Firmino or we missed them. So if he pushes money back out, then I think it's going to be a problem. Having said that, if he gets Jota back through the middle, then it's fine. But I think that role for Firmino to play that role, to the middle, it's too much for him. It's not his role. It doesn't look comfortable at all.
I think it'd be going forward if they stick with this formation where they're effectively sharing out the left wing position between Jones and Robertson.
Yeah,
I do think it's going to cause problems. Sheffield United style played into Liverpool because if we look at the way Liverpool have struggled, conceded goals recently, it's been when teams have attacked down the centre, put the pressure in and around the centre backs. That's where the mistakes and goals have come from. The problem with Sheffield United is everything they do is overloading out wide. They always have 3 players out wide, and their whole game is based around getting the ball in the wide position and crossing the ball in. And I felt that played into Liverpool's strengths and not their weaknesses. So I do think going forward, if they come up against those more direct teams who play through the centre a bit more, that gap between Wijnaldum and the centre backs, that will be exposed. And I saw enough of that today anyway to suggest that
the solution's got to be, though. What's the solution? The solution's got to be to take out Firmino out of the team and get someone on the left side, rather than put Mane back out, because Mane.
You have Shaqiri, Oxlade, still on the bench. They both could play on.
He could easily play Shaqiri out left and Mane to the centre, but you
can push Curtis Jones more forward and get another midfielder in like Naby Keita.
So this game, Curtis actually did play a lot further than he normally has been. It's helped us with that space on that left side. He has helped us. But I think he's 100% right. Another team can exploit that space on that side. If the fullbacks, as I say this every time, they bombard forward. So if they rain another left-sided player to cover Robertson every now and then, or we don't have someone sitting back, Jones played quite further up to cover Robertson, it might cause us a problem in the future. I don't think the solution is to put Mane back out there for now. For now, at least, I would think it'd be better if they kept Mane to the middle and come up with a different plan for the left side.
Since we were talking about Curtis Jones, I wanted to ask, what's your take on him? Because obviously he's got a goal today.
Man of the match, definitely, clearly the best player today. He makes things happen. I mean, I like the way he plays. I think I said it on previous shows about how Klopp keeps taking him off when he's the most influential player Liverpool have at that moment. And I've noticed in those games where they've taken him off, they've lost attacking impetus. So I do think he's a player who makes things happen. He's dribbling, he's committing players. He's just a forward-thinking player. He's trying to get forward passes going. I think he's been definitely one of the bright sparks for Liverpool this season, and very promising career ahead of him.
And in terms of Sheffield, really, I mean, the chairman came out today, a couple of days ago, said that obviously even if they get relegated, they're going to stay with Chris Wilder. Adi, what's your take on that? I mean, do you think they should still keep him, even though obviously they're getting relegated and they're in such poor run?
I think Wilder has definitely earned the right to bring them back up, but you do you have to have that question mark as well, because does that statement help them in this current campaign? Because I can't imagine that motivating any player.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I think they've done the right thing, because you're right, but it might not help the players, but I think they've accepted that they're going down. So moving forward, they want to.
So that means they've already accepted defeat, and
they're going down. They're going
is
down.
that something the fan would want, though? Is that something
The
they
fans
would?
might not want this. The fans need to be grateful to someone like Wilder. I think he's been one of the best managers in the league. Last year, he was one of the best managers in the league. This year, he's had a bad year. The problem with football is that there's not much loyalty nowadays. They need to know, would Sheffield United be a Premier League team had Wilder got him up? And that's with a lot of managers that have got. I think like another one is Leeds manager. At the beginning of the season, people were saying for the sack. These type of managers, if they bring them up to the Premier League, would not a crazy fund, and they bring them up with their management, the tactical methods and stuff. They bring them up. They have a right to have one more season at least in the Championship to see if they can bring them back up.
But I think there are some managers that are like yo-yo club managers. One example is Mick McCarthy. He's had a lot of success in the Championship and nothing but failure in the Premiership. Some managers, their brand of football, their style of football, their philosophy, the way they build a club up works at Championship level. But as soon as you go to the Premiership where the extra quality is needed and you can't necessarily stick to a British-based squad because those British-based players are just so expensive, then it becomes tough because you don't have the scouting network, you don't have the philosophy where you can incorporate foreign players into your team, and you struggle. So I do think there are managers like that who just don't cut it at Premiership level because they're so focused on building a team spirit and having a hard-working group. But then that doesn't transcend into the Premiership where you also still need the quality. And I think Wilder is different. I do think he tried addressing it, but those gambles didn't pay off. I mean, in hindsight, you look at the Brewster deal for 20 mil and you just think he's not good enough for the Prem. I mean, now that 20 mil looks like a lot, but in the summer, people are looking at as maybe that's quite a good deal. That's a smart buy, possibly. Maybe a little bit overpaid. Now it looks like, what a ridiculous deal.
Yeah.
So I think he did spend the money, and that's where I think Wilder's problems are. He spent money on strikers that are effectively Championship level strikers. You look at McBurney, I think they spent over 20 mil on. Musa, a guy who couldn't, he wasn't good enough for Bournemouth's squad. He wasn't even on the bench half the time, majority of the game. Yet you're going to spend money to buy him. So I think you have to question Wilder's recruitment and that desire to stick to British. Maybe has hampered him, but he does deserve the chance to go up. I just don't feel the chairman saying that is going to help them in this current campaign.
He didn't have to announce it. I think, as I said, I believe they've accepted they're going to relegate. Had it been for last year, I probably would have, I would have been on the fence whether they should keep him or not. But last year, some of the matches, it was crazy tactics, man. He had like centre backs overlapping. I'm not, you've seen games where he's played with a 5 and the fullback one side stays on centre back overlaps. He done crazy tactics. So many games he's played. Starts off with a 5-3-2, and before you know it, it's 2-man back and 5 in midfield, 3 up front. So tactically, I think he's got it there, but he deserves a chance. It's a freak season. You got to look at West Ham 4th, and it's not a normal season with the
coronavirus. What's gone wrong then? What's actually gone wrong? Because obviously you're saying he's got this great tactics, everything, but what's actually gone wrong?
He's having a bad season. I just think he needs a fresh start from next year in the Championship. Now, if he messes up in the Championship, they can get rid of him. I believe he will come back up.
I think the problem he's had is it's such a unique system. And what happened was last year, he had all the key players who understood the system there for majority of the game. And this year, when they did get in, and every time they had a dip in form was when those key players got injured, especially the centre backs.
Yeah.
So when O'Connor, or Egan, or Basham get injured, they really struggle because those 3 centre backs are the ones who understand the system and make it work. Now, what's happened is they've had O'Connor injured the whole season. So even though they've played other players like Robinson and Padu, those players haven't mastered that system. So
And they don't-
what it shows you is Chris Wilder's system is a very difficult system to play against, and it clearly does get you results, but it only works when the players can execute it at 100%. Soon as you go to the backup players who haven't quite picked it up because they're new signings, they're new to the club, that extra 1 or 2, 3, 4% of not knowing the system is what's costing. And we've all said it, they've performed well in a lot of games.
Yeah, they have.
They've lost games they should have won. And it comes down to also the finishing. Or at the end of the day, those strikers aren't getting the goals. And you think back to last season, their midfield was chipping in with a lot of goals. Fleck was getting a lot of goals. Lundstrom was getting a lot of goals. You don't even see the midfield getting chances this year. So definitely within the system, it's not working out because it's very much personnel based. And that's where we're seeing the deficiency.
I mean, do you think it's another problem? I mean, last year they had Dean Henderson, who had a terrific season, to be honest, for them. Do you think Ramsdale didn't work out either for them?
Yeah, I think Dean Henderson is an organizer, and I think that's what it comes down to is Dean Henderson made sure the players got back into position. They played, they stayed defensively sound. So then when he had to do a save, and he never had too many to make, but when he did, he was in the right position to do it, is because everything else in front of him is organized. Now, what you see this season is a lot of the chances Sheffield United are giving away, their errors, their mistakes, the team ain't organized. And then you've got Ramsdale, who just isn't as calm. He's a bit, runs off his line. He's a bit more erratic in his play. So even though he can do the tough saves, the shot stopping, he really struggles on everything else, in commanding the area, in positioning. So a lot of the goals he's been in the wrong position. So you have to question concentration. So yeah, I think it has had an effect. And again, because it's the team that plays to a system where the players need to know each other, because there's so much risk. Like Rashid said, sometimes they left one defensive mid and one defender at the back, and everyone else is pushing on it as overlapping out wide. So
the football is positive. Wilder's what he's done for that club, he deserves to have another chance.
And we saw that today. I mean, Liverpool had to defend and had to get back and had to press, had to work hard. I mean, it wasn't an easy 2-0.
It wasn't. It could have been 1-0.
Only once they scored the second goal, okay, that's when it became a very easy game for Liverpool, and they're just tapping the ball around. But up until that second goal, it was still a game on the knife edge. I mean, Sheffield United was still attacking and causing enough problems for Liverpool to be worried about.
I mean, clearly it seems Liverpool problems haven't fully been solved, and it looks like Sheffield United are kind of accepted defeat.
Yeah, I mean, even if we analyze the change of Mane going up top, it gave them more of a foothold up front, but it didn't. That wasn't where the goals came from. Both goals kind of come from deflections, or you could say hard luck, because you don't know. The clearance from Trent's cross happens to go into the path of Jones. There was two other Sheffield United players either side of him. If it went slightly left or right, they would have got to it before Jones. But it went straight into the path of Jones. So
this is what I'm saying. Liverpool need a proper goal scorer. Liverpool need a proper goal scorer through the middle. This is what I'm saying. It could be
do they need a goal scorer, or do they need someone to create more? Because clearly they
need someone that can finish easy chances. They need someone who can finish tapping. Look at that Firmino one, right? The first half.
First half, yeah.
Yeah, what was all that about? Smack it in, man. You know what I'm saying? You're guaranteed to play. Klopp's not going to drop you. I don't know why he's under pressure. He's going to play. He can play and he's guaranteed to start next game. So smack that, bro. If he's not going to smack it, he tries to pull it back. Tries. He doesn't even pull it back to anyone. Like, what the hell are you doing? Are you going to score? You're going to pull it back.
Even with that chance, it comes down to Ramsdale as well. I mean, Ramsdale should have dealt with the first shot better. But you got an open goal. Like
Why are you not going to
You
shoot?
shouldn't be looking.
Okay, you want to pull it back. You want to be an unselfish hero. Pull it back to a player. Who are you pulling it back to? I'm saying they need a goal scorer, and until they address that, that's a bigger issue for me than the defense.
Do you think
Liverpool have 70% possession? The 30% they get can cause 60 to 70% possession. 30% opposition get, 40% they get. They can create chances and score. But if we score our goals, we will outscore most teams. But we've got a problem, big, serious problem.
But do you think Firmino getting this deflected goal assist? Do you think that's going to make Klopp stick with him more?
Klopp's going to stick with him, whether even if that goal didn't go in. If we lost 3-0 today and he missed open goals, he will stay. He will play. Last year, I was taking Firmino off on the 60th minute every game, but I watched pretty much every single game. Every game he was taking off 60 minutes just to sugarcoat that. It's not a problem. This year, when Carragher went in hard and everyone went in hard on Firmino, he got stubborn Klopp and he just played him every game. I can't criticize Klopp because I think he's the best manager in the world, but there's certain questions you've got to ask. Like, I think it's more loyalty with Firmino than anything. And you talk to Liverpool fans. I talk to Liverpool fans. They say, "Oh, he's so hardworking." Okay, you can put someone else that can work hard.
I mean,
he's a false striker. He's a false striker. Yeah.
But his recent stats does not reflect that.
Mane works harder than him. Last year's stats, Mane had more recovery, more running, everything more. That's what I'm saying. Mane should be played to the middle. You talk about Firmino saying false striker, he defends, and you can get anyone to defend. How many assists does he get? If he's playing so deep, how many assists? Oh, he's not attacking midfield. Or what is his position? I don't know. Like, so some people say if he's a false nine, he need to score at least 15 goals. You guys have got to agree with me. For Liverpool, someone who take that many shots, create that many chances, has to score 15 goals for me in the Premier League. Like 15 is not that much, The top
we say
he's
not good enough. Is that what we say? He's not good enough.
Yeah, he doesn't assist or score. So why is he doing hard work? Let someone else do. They say the other myth about Firmino going around is that if he plays well, Mane and Firmino play well. That's rubbish. Salah was scoring 30 plus goals for Roma. Was Firmino there? No, he wasn't. Mane was scoring hat-tricks against Chelsea, Man United for Southampton. Was Firmino doing defensive work there and helping those two out? That's the biggest rubbish that Liverpool fans like to say about him. He won't get into Chelsea's team. He won't get into Man United's team. He will not get into Man City's team. Why is he good enough for Liverpool?
I think on current form, you could definitely say...
Current form? It's been 2 years he's been playing like this. How did I speak to you? I've been speaking to you about him for the last 2 years. Even when they won the league, that we carried a player and we won the league. Same how Fergie won it with Cleverly. We carried an extra player and we won the league. So, yeah, this is how good Klopp is.
Once you win titles, you become more loyal to those players.
Yes, exactly. It's loyalty. Look, if I'm a manager and both of you played for me, you're my friends, I will try my best to make it work for you. If you guys were missing open goals, doesn't matter, I'm scoring own goals, I will try my best. It's understandable, but it's a problem.
Definitely agree.
Couldn't agree more. There's loads of areas that they obviously need to fix. And thank you both for your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, bro. Thank you.